There we go. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are, and welcome to another edition of the Living World of Darkness. This evening we find one Frederick Hagenbarth and Lady Sheridan sitting inside the exclusive club for upstanding members of society. Currently, the club is closed, having been shut down for the evening, much to the dismay of those who find it a regular haunt. Frederick sits on a table out in the center of the floor, across from the other Ventru. Two glasses sit upon the table, one in Frederick's hand, the other set before Lady Sheridan, likely at this point attuned to her tastes. And they wait for an individual that Frederick put out a missive to. And we start the scene with Frederick setting the glass down after taking a nice drink and looking over at Sheridan. Well, I did tell her about this time this evening. We'll see if she makes an appearance or not.
I suppose it's the only way to find out.
Well, you know Bruja, prone to flights of fancy.
But I found that they're quite reliable when properly motivated.
Hmm. Well, hopefully we have a carrot on a stick that this one will enjoy.
There's a sound of clinking chains as one of the doors is pushed open and Ghost steps through. She's smoking a cigarette and poking some of the toys and equipment that's hanging about the room with childish amusement.
The one of the individuals at the bar who's currently using the time without patrons to clean just looks at Ghost with the cigarette in her mouth and just kind of reaches out and says, "Tut, tut, tut, tut. No smoking, please. No smoking."
Ghost, you'd expect Ghost to be like, "Oh, fuck you, man," but she just smiles at the cleaner and puts the cigarette out.
I do believe the gentleman and
And then
lady
looks
are
over
waiting
at the
for me.
table.
She'll see a young man, blonde hair, blue eyes, sitting in a nice business attire, or casual business attire, a turtleneck underneath of a sport jacket, sitting next to Lady Sharon in an outfit that, well, Frederick approves of. And the two just sit there. Frederick looks over and reaches out with one hand to wave the Bruja over. Please,
Lady
come join him.
Sheridan. Oh, Lady Sheridan slides slightly further into the booth to allow space where she was previously sitting.
Ghost walks over. She more saunters over than walks. She's got quite a confident swagger about her. It's almost arrogant, and she seems to be taking her time as if she wants to give you both the impression that she's not intimidated about being in your environment. And she slides into the seat that was offered to her and crosses her legs.
So, Ghost, I take it?
Yeah.
Welcome. Welcome to this little slice of heaven. I suppose you're likely wondering why I asked you to join us this evening?
Well, S&M's not really my bag, but, you know, not much to do on a Friday night, is there? She grins at you.
Well, aren't we getting right down to business?
Lady Sheridan is quite definitely smirking at this point.
I'm afraid that this isn't a social call, and, well, you don't quite fit my taste, young lady, but perhaps could be made to. But no, there is a very specific reason I'm here, and it's more of a courtly manner.
She nods at you to carry on.
I suppose by now you know the treachery of the former Ventru Primogen, correct?
Yeah, he killed my Primogen.
Yes, terrible business that. It would seem only fair to allow Clan Bruja a chance to strike back at him.
What do you have in mind?
Seneschal Silas has decreed that myself and Lady Sheridan are to go investigate DuPont's estate. We don't know exactly what we'll find there. It could be a death trap, it could be an empty house. We're not really sure at this point. But Silas did give me permission to tap members of the court that I felt were worthy of standing side by side with us.
It could be a death trap. Not the most enticing proposal I've ever had.
It very could well be a death trap. But then again, so is any point in this city when you have lupines and demons and things of that nature running around.
And what are we supposed to do with this mansion after we secure it?
After it is secured, it becomes part of the court's property. And I'm going to go ahead and roll manipulation subterfuge on that one.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can.
Alright. Perception empathy on your part. Spending a willpower point. And boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 4, 6. 7 successes with a specialty in manipulation.
I've got like a really jack dice pool in perception empathy. I think it's like 4 or something.
And if you can't match the dice, that's alright.
Yeah, I got no successes. I think you're telling the truth.
Of course why would he lie to me? Right, just nods and once we've cleared it out, obviously it would help a young neonate's standing here in the court. Which is why Lady Sheridan is coming along, and seems like you could, or seems like young Bruja could always stand to advance.
I'm not averse to getting my hands dirty.
Well, that's good.
So.
I don't know about you, Sheridan. I don't know if you're... Are you averse to getting your hands dirty?
Not if the need arises. Her hands actually look fairly pristine and freshly manicured. So it's kind of hard to imagine that she might get them dirty. But the slight smile at this corner of her mouth suggests otherwise. At least to Frederick.
Yes, I'm sure your hands very seldom get dirty.
Ghost looks mildly amused. She fixes Lady Sheridan with a evaluating gaze, I suppose, would be the best way to put it. She's trying to work her out.
Now, tell me, Ghost, what is it that your talents are? What are you skilled in? How can we best utilize you in this endeavor?
Well, I think you already know the answer to that question. Otherwise you wouldn't have asked me here.
Well, I didn't want to assume, but how about you at least humor me?
I hit things, they fall over.
Well, what an elegant
Quite
way of
often they
putting
don't get
things.
back up.
Hmm.
I'm pretty good at dressmaking too.
He's just gonna kind of look over at the look across at her at the table, take the glass back up, and just sip from it, and just say,
Lady Sheridan will gesture to the glass that was before her and is now before Ghost since she has moved.
She looks at the glass and raises an eyebrow.
There's some of Lady Sheridan's lipstick on the edge of the glass, but not much of it, if any, seems to have been drunk.
A hesitation. Do you have no faith in the camaraderie of your Ventru cousins?
I don't have faith in anyone's camaraderie.
Quite a reasonable statement.
You know, Sheridan, I like this one. She seems smart.
Not smart enough to pretend to
Have
drink.
you...
Oh, this is true.
Have you met any of my other Bruiser counterparts?
Oh, well, I have met our dear Prince Lenison. Him and I came into the city about the same time, and we've... I respect the man. Any man that can put an end to a prince that would rather throw around discipline wildly in Elysium needs to be dealt with. Perhaps a bit harsher than I would have liked, but it is what it is.
Needs must.
Yes. And then, of course, the great and late Dr. Softly. Him and I got to know each other very well. He proved his mettle, and I can respect him for that.
You'll find a lot of the younger Bruiser are a little more trigger happy than I am.
Well, if you'd like to take all the glory for yourself, perhaps not include any of them. If you're as capable as you're boasting, you should be able to do this all on your own, while Sheridan and I simply back you up.
holding the whip hand.
I can go grab one if you like.
No, thank you. You're not my type.
Sheridan, maybe you.
I do have practice in the matter. She smirks towards Ghost.
If I'm going to be collared and leashed to help you clear house, I might need a little bit more incentive than the prince might pat me on the head.
I might be willing to give out boons just simply to watch you walk around in a collar and leash, my dear. It's kind of why I made this whole little establishment, in case you hadn't figured that one out.
No, I got that you're a kinky bastard.
You have no idea. At that, he opens his mouth and smiles very plainly with his fangs unable to retract, just out and bared slightly as he just kind of leans across the table slightly and rests his hand on his knuckles, looking at her. It's always interesting to see neonates in a situation where they don't know exactly how to act. The human response, somewhat stripped away from them. And then, of course, the danger of the beast rearing its ugly little head. And with a Bruja, it's like playing Russian roulette.
Perhaps you shouldn't quite tease her so much. We are looking to make an arrangement.
Oh. He's fairly safe with me. I'm a bit of an exception when it comes to short temper.
Perhaps, but that doesn't mean it's going to encourage you to work with us anymore.
No. It's alright, he just wants to show me that he's got the bigger penis. It's a man thing, you understand.
Of course.
She grins at Lady Sheridan.
Siegfried just picks up his glass and smirks as he takes a very long drink from it and sits back with a smirk on his face. Well, at least this one's got spirit, I'll give her that much.
So?
All jokes aside, he sets the glass down. There is a real clear and present danger that DuPont could have booby-trapped this place. He could have his friends within the Sabbat waiting. He could have shovelheads upon shovelheads laying in wait there, just blood-starved and waiting for the opportunity to feed. You'll need to be at your best, and I would bring whatever you have as far as weapons. Be prepared for anything.
Alright.
If you do this, I won't offer you a boon, but perhaps a sum of money? Would that be amendable to you?
Yeah, I think I can work with that.
Alright then. You get some money. We get the backup we need just in case things go south. pear-shaped. And of course, if there's
I'll
any,
be.
if there are any fine objects in there that might be of value, I wouldn't be opposed to you taking one or two. What about you, Lady Sheridan?
I'm sure nobody knows quite what there is in there. If things were to go missing, who would be able to object?
Well, as long as Silas doesn't have a true accounting of what's going on, I think we could very easily all walk away from this with a fair bit, wouldn't you say?
Certainly. There's no
Well,
reason
I'll have
we
to
should
meet
limit ourselves.
with who?
I'll have to meet my associate and see if he wants to come along.
Alright. If he's up to task, certainly.
Should we say tomorrow evening?
Well, we shouldn't say tomorrow daytime, should we, darling?
It would be rather difficult.
Yeah. Yes, tomorrow evening suits me.
Excellent.
I'm somewhat of an early riser, so
Mm.
I expect I'll be
How
there
does
on
it
time.
suit you, Frederick?
I simply am looking for something to entertain myself. Tonight, tomorrow, it's all gravy, as they say.
Splendid.
Well, if
And,
that's all you need me for, I'll make my way.
Ghost, are you currently employed at the moment?
Yes.
Oh. What a shame.
What?
Oh, well. Well, our little slice of heaven here, it needs security. And if you prove yourself to be something of a force to be reckoned with, provided that you maybe don't mind wearing some free clothes, let's say, we could definitely use a visible presence on the floor, just to make sure that our clients don't get a little too rambunctious. It's very expensive to get certain body fluids out of the upholstery.
She unzips her jacket and she's essentially wearing a leather bra. And she shrugs. I wasn't born
Not,
shy.
not quite what I meant, Miss Ghost, but we'll discuss things if things go well. If we're all still standing and not piles of ash tomorrow, feel free to stop on by.
She stands up and sort of pauses for a moment as if she's thinking about saying something, but holds back. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Have a pleasant night.
I'll try. She heads back towards the door and exits.
Frederick just smirks as he sits back in his chair, sort of rubs the bottom of his chin. What was your impression?
Very positive.
She's probably
Let's
just
just-
exactly what we need.
Oh, yes. Let's just say she reminds me more of one Bruiser I've met that I liked than one that I met that I very much disliked.
Bruja are interesting individuals. And this one could prove to be very, very useful. Let's just hope that she's as competent as she thinks she is.
Let's hope we all are.
He'll take his glass and simply raise it towards her. I can drink to that.
She also raises the glass, leaving another small layer of lipstick on it, but not actually drinking any of the blood.
Siegfried will just or Frederick, rather, will just smirk at that as he takes a sip. And I think there we can end our scene.
Scene ends. Right, we're working push the button.
Button.
Button, button, where is the button?